Unfortunately, Arsenal are out of the FA Cup. Nottingham Forest 1, Arsenal 0. Let's get into the 5 at 5. First up, let's talk about the fact that we need reinforcements. Clearly, our first choice starting 11 can do a job. We've seen that in December. But as soon as a few of those are out, some are at AFCON and we weren't playing that tried and tested team that we're used to in the Premier League, then you kind of see we're just not at the same level. We need more strength and depth. For us, in the game against Nottingham Forest, we got no shot on target. 0. We didn't test the Forest keeper once. That's awful, especially after going a goal down. You'd think we'd throw the kitchen sink at Forest. It just didn't happen. It was awful, absolutely toothless. And a big part of that was the fact that we really suffered in midfield. We had 0 midfield presence. And that's been a feature of our season, even though it has been improved in the last few games. And clearly the midfield against Nottingham Forest isn't what we've seen in our Premier League games. But ultimately, I think is that part of our squad that we could seriously improve on. And with Ainsley Maitland-Niles going on loan to Roma, we're even weaker for the second half of the season. We have to improve that. But not only that, 0 shots on target tells you that our strikers, our forwards didn't do enough. And that's another part of our squad that we seriously need to improve. With Nketiah going to be out of contract, Lacazette going to be out of contract, and Aubameyang, who the hell knows what the hell is going to happen with him. Clearly there's issues there. We are desperately in need of sorting out our striker situation. But I want to ask you guys, if you could get one top quality player in this January transfer window, would you opt for a midfielder or would you opt for a striker? And why? And in fact, who would that person be as well? I have to admit, for me, I would happily go for the striker in the summer. I feel like a lot of the games that we're not converting is because of the fact that we don't have that midfield domination. Let me know if you agree with me and tell me what you prefer, midfielder or striker. Number 2, and here is where it's going to get a little bit tasty, because I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me. I'm sure some of you will agree with me as well, but listen, hey, I don't care. This is my opinion. I'm going to stick to it. What Mikel Arteta did to Nuno Tavares was not the best way of going about it. He should have been better than that. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have subbed him off. You've got to do what you've got to do to get the result, which unfortunately we still didn't. But there's better ways of doing it, better management styles. What I would have done, I would have said to, let's say, Martinelli, who would have been ahead of Tavares on that same wing closest to Arteta, go down injured for 1 minute. I need to have a word with the player. And then I would have said to Tavares, look, put my arm around the shoulder and say, this is what you're doing wrong. In the next 5 minutes, this is what I want to see from you. And if you don't do it, I'm going to sub you off. So you've been told what you need to do to avoid the embarrassment of being subbed off. At least that gives the player a fair chance and a fair warning. Let's not forget, Tavares is a young player. He's got very minimal experience of English football. And on top of that, just to up the ante further, very little or nil, actually, FA Cup experience. This is his first 35 minutes of FA Cup football in his life. FA Cup football is different. It's a lot more physical, a lot more intense. And, it's not always easy for players to adapt to that. So for me, I think Arteta could have done a lot better there. I'm not even saying take him off at half time, because I realise those 10 minutes from when he got subbed off to half time is a risk in itself. I just worry that with Mikel Arteta's style and how easily he falls out with players, you think Aubameyang, Ozil, Saliba, Guendouzi, maybe now even Tavares, you will not have longevity at a club if you carry on falling out with people like this. Eventually, players will just form a mutiny against you. We've seen that with various other managers, and I feel like it's one part of Mikel Arteta's managerial style that he can really, really improve. Anyway, agree or disagree, that's how I feel about it. Number 3, and listen, this isn't going to be a fun 5 at 5 because it was that bloody awful. And on the theme of awful, let's go with something that, as bad as it was, had to just make me laugh. And that was Rob Holding in the 27th minute and his shot at goal. If he carries on like that, we are not going to miss Thomas Partey. We won't even realise Thomas Partey's gone, because that shot from outside the box was awful. Not only did it obviously not hit the target, it hit the corner flag. Rob Holding, that was not your finest moment. But you know what? Probably the most memorable thing from the game from an Arsenal point of view. That's how bad it was. Number 4, and I'm just wondering about Arteta and the FA Cup. What I find interesting is that when it was sort of dark times under Mikel Arteta, a lot of people would say he's got credit in the bank because of that FA Cup win. And I agree with that. I think that the FA Cup win that he oversaw was really, really instrumental to a lot of people sticking by him in the tough times. Because you see managers at other clubs who have been there for years and haven't achieved anything, and Mikel Arteta very quickly was able to get a trophy in the bag. So fair play to him. But that same trophy that almost saved him from an early execution, he seems to not value that trophy. Last year, Southampton put a really understrength team out and we got dumped out. The performance level just wasn't there. This year against Nottingham Forest, I understand there was a difficulty in the team that he could put out with AFCON and other things. But I just don't understand why there was no reaction at any point. Not when Tavares went off did people buckle up their ideas. Not at half time when the manager had the opportunity to speak to them. Not when Lacazette came on for Patino in the second half. At no point did the team seem to respond to Mikel Arteta. So it makes me think, is this due to the manager or is this due to the players? I want you to tell me, is it a case that Mikel Arteta just doesn't seem to value the FA Cup? Does he seem to think maybe the League Cup's easier to win, we'll go with that. The FA Cup's a bit more difficult, we'll have to play more difficult teams and it's in the business end of the season. I don't know what it is. He just doesn't seem to value the FA Cup based on what we've seen over the last 2 years. Let me know your thoughts below. And I just want to see him take the FA Cup a lot more seriously because it's a competition that I love and it still is a major honour. And number 5, and I've saved this because this is the most important thing to come out of yesterday. I know we're all very disappointed with the result and being out of the FA Cup, but the No More Red initiative was a fantastic initiative from Arsenal Football Club. And I have to say, it's also refreshing that they're not using this opportunity, Arsenal and Adidas, to make yet more money with merchandise. I think it would have really undermined the effort had they then put this shirt on sale. So credit to them for doing the right thing there. And also, a lot of people might say, what's it going to achieve? Yeah, you're wearing a white kit in a football match. Who cares? Tomorrow is back to normal. But on top of that, they have invested in safe spaces and they actually seem to be taking tangible actions as well to help the fight against knife crime in London, which I think is really important. And Arsenal didn't have to do this. I think it's quite a novel idea. We haven't seen many other teams, change their kit specifically for a cause. So do you know what? I think Arsenal deserve a lot of credit for that because I've always asked for some lateral thinking in the club. And when I'm saying that, I'm asking on a footballing level. But it's nice to see that they're doing that on a social level. So I think credit to Arsenal for that. It probably was the only positive thing to come out of the game yesterday. But we wore white, we looked like Real Madrid, but we played like Tottenham. So hopefully next time we're out on the pitch, we're back in red and back on form. But well done anyway, Arsenal. And until next time, see you later.